Who is the Dark Lord in the story of Doom Eternal? Is there any meaning to the statues, engravings, and symbols within Doom Eternal? And what is Samuel Hayden's true motive in the story? Now keep in mind, this video is gathering a lot of information and trying to see their connection. It's a video about possible theories until we get direct answers. So with that being said, let's get started. I might as well start with the big question that everyone is asking. Who is the mysterious voice when you defeat the Khan Maykr? There's been some speculation that it could be the father of the Maykr race, or Vega, who supposedly thinks he's the father. If Vega is the father, then he just realized the Khan lineage has been destroyed. But there's another character I have in mind. I looked at the credits in Doom Eternal hoping to find the answer. Now, nobody was listed as the mysterious voice. However, one person was credited for the voices of the Sentinel King and the Dark Lord. Does that sound familiar? Well, if you played Doom Eternal, then that name should sound familiar, because during the mission on Necroval, Samuel talks about the machine that's being used to harness the souls of the damned. The technology placed in Necroval was already known to the demons in Hell. This technology was given by the Makers. He also mentions the agreement between both parties. A deal was struck with the Dark Lord. In return for the access to more worlds for Hell to devour, the Maker siphoned energy from the damned. It is an unholy union and cannot stand any longer. One Slayer Testament in Doom 2016 does mention this. In the first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood, burned by the embers of Armageddon, his soul blistered by the fires of hell and tainted beyond ascension. He chose the path of perpetual torment. The last part is just a reference to the updated ending of Doom 64, when the Doom Guy chose to remain in hell to fight the demons there. But keep in mind, this ending text is only in the recent port of Doom 64, which came bundled with Doom Eternal. It's supposed to be a way of linking Doom 64 to the events before Doom 2016, when the Slayer met the Sentinel people on their world. Now, the original Doom 64 ending does not say he chose the path of perpetual torment. I'm just pointing that out so you don't get confused between the ending in both versions of the game. The next part of the testament goes like this. In his ravenous hatred he found no peace, and with boiling blood he scoured the umbral plains, seeking the Dark Lords who had wronged him. It does mention the Dark Lords, which is plural, meaning more than one. Now this is where some words and meanings can be taken out of context because of how they are used in a phrase. When it says the Dark Lords, it could just be referring to the many lords of hell. This could include the Dark Lord we are looking for amongst the group, or it could just be a group of Dark Lords. And if you're wondering why he was seeking the Dark Lords who had wronged him, it's possibly linked to the original Doom games, where the Doomarine or Doom Guy vows to get revenge for the demons who killed Daisy, his pet rabbit. Perhaps the Dark Lords who wronged him are the ones who ordered the attack on Earth. So this could be the ones he wants to eliminate because of their commands to attack is what led to him losing Daisy. Back in Doom 2016, there is a demonic voice that speaks to Olivia Pierce. He was angered by the Doomslayer being set free, even though she blames it on Samuel Hayden. The person who voiced this demonic voice is once again Piotr Michael. The origin character is the demon who speaks during the Slayer Testaments. So how do I link these two voices to the voice that spoke after the Khan Maykr was defeated? Well, this is connected to the bargain between heaven and hell. So this was the procedure they both followed. Heaven would invade other worlds. Hell would consume them. Then factories with Maker technology would be set up. The souls of the damned would be siphoned and turned into Argent energy. And what is Argent energy used for by the Khan Maykr? Well, since the loss of father, they cannot create another Khan. So the current one is going to expire with no successor. She needs Argent energy to extend her natural lifespan. As powerful as they are, the Khan makers are designed to expire. When one passes away, her mind becomes part of the collective consciousness of Urdak. Then, another Khan maker will be born every 10,000 years, and they would gather all the information from the previous Khans. So, why does the mysterious voice scream at the end of the Khan maker battle? Well, here's my theory. I think that voice is the Dark Lord who's been kept in secret. When the Khan maker was defeated, that meant hell would no longer have new worlds to consume. The deal between heaven and hell is now severed by the Doomslayer's actions. But it makes me wonder, how strong is the Dark Lord? Well, there's a codex entry in Doom 2016 that mentions this person just a little bit. Tablets retrieved from the Great Step in the UAC automated survey of 2143 suggest that the Barons of Hell are the current royal guard of the unknown Dark Lord of the Fourth Age. While the nature of this entity is unknown, it must be presumed that as the royal guard's power has significantly increased, so too has the power of their master. Another topic I want to discuss is something about the demonic crucible. This image here is in Doom 2016 and also in Doom Eternal. If you look closely, the demonic crucible is overlapping another image behind it. This image here looks like the Kabbalah Tree of Life. If you compare them side to side, you can see there are similarities. While it might not be the exact Tree of Life, it could just be their own version for the story. But what is the Tree of Life? In religious terms, the Tree of Life has different meanings depending on which source you're reading. It could mean a series of divine emanations of God's creation, 10 different aspects that can lead to a spiritual path of ascension by man. These attributes were then modeled after a tree to depict the map of creation. Other sources say that the Tree of Life depicts the process of how the universe came to be. The flaming sword is also from a religious background. It was used to protect the Tree of Life, or in other sources it says it was used to guard the gates of paradise. There's also been some different wording in other articles that it could be the flame of the whirling sword. So what does this mean in the lore of Doom? Well, I have two opinions on this. First is that this idea could have just been taken from the Bible and thrown into Doom. There's even been some stories in film that have small references to religion, so it won't surprise me if that's the main reason. The second theory is that it could be linked to the Crucible prophecy. The flaming sword can be seen as the destroyer of life and creation. When we look at the hidden prophecy of the demonic crucible, it seems to have a dark secret, that it will destroy all realms. No demon or man will survive, but there's no mention of angels. Could an angel use the demonic crucible and become corrupted? I've also noticed that this statue is sometimes missing the demonic crucible from its hand. We know it was found in the necropolis, but we don't know who placed it there. When I put these things together, I feel as if that hidden prophecy is depicting what will happen in the future. It reminds me of the last words from the Khan maker. She said this, "You have broken the holy seal of Urdak. Your transgressions here will jeopardize all of creation." Is this a reference to the demonic crucible, how it will corrupt all realms, destroy all creation, and transfer absolute power to the one who wields it? There's been a lot of theories and discussion if Samuel Hayden is Samur Maker, the seraphim who bestowed the Doomslayer with incredible strength and speed. If we look at the actions of Samuel Hayden in Doom 2016, he guided the Doomslayer to find the demonic crucible, which holds a hidden prophecy. By the end of the story, Samuel would take the demonic crucible from the Slayer, and then send him away to not interfere with his plans. When Samuel lost his war against the demons on Earth, the demonic crucible and Samuel's broken body were retrieved by Ark soldiers, both of which are later taken by the Doomslayer. So the demonic crucible is now powering the fortress of Doom, and Samuel is connected to it. He would then continue to guide the Slayer throughout his mission in Doom Eternal. While the actions of Samuel seem to be a combination of good and evil, depending on how you look at things, he wants to stop the evil from hell and heaven in the story, but at the same time, he wants to help the humans on earth with their energy crisis. I'm just wondering if he will betray the Slayer once again. If we look at religious information, one source says Samael was seen as a figure who would act on both good and evil decisions, but these were decisions given to him by God. Other sources say that Samael was seen as an accuser, seducer, destroyer, the venom or poison of God, and the blindness of God. How does this link to Samuel Hayden in Doom? Well, he uses the Slayer to retrieve the Crucible, destroy the Khanmaker lineage, and defeat Hell, coming off as a good person trying to help, but really having his own secret agenda. But what does all of this mean regarding Samuel Hayden? Well, there's one line in Doom Eternal that could give meaning to all of this. When you find the Soul Extractor, he says this: "Your people are made to suffer, processed souls for the Khanmaker's world. I assure you, this could have been avoided with different leadership." So this could mean that Samuel Hayden wants to rule over hell, heaven, and maybe other realms, or perhaps he's helping someone else to achieve this. This seems to match up with the actions of the Seraphim and also the religious character Samael, acting out in the name of good and evil. Because I like history, I'm really fascinated by the prophecy of the demonic crucible, who used it long ago, and who created it. I'm also really curious as to what the symbols and text translate to from both demon and sentinel language. I can only wonder if there is a real message here, or if these are just designs meant to give that impression. So if you have any theories on the topics I covered, feel free to share them in the comments section. I've covered a lot of Doom lore in the past, so check out that playlist to see more content like that. If you enjoyed this video, then subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel. My name is Carlos, or Acid Glow, and I'll see you next time.